Carrie here, and we have our FAQ episode today. So, a little while back, we did our first FAQ episode, and we got such great feedback on how helpful it was. So, we're going to do it again. So, once a month, we're going to do this FAQ episode. So, if you are in our Diet Disruptors squad or on our Instagram, or even the TikTok, you can find TikTok and Instagram at Disruptive Nutrition. Go there. We have stuff on those two channels that we literally do not put anywhere else. So take a minute, go right now. Instagram, Disruptive Nutrition, go. There's so much good stuff. We have a team member, actually a couple team members, that is literally just doing our Instagram and TikTok. And they put together some of the most incredible content. The other thing that's on there, giveaways. So we work with a variety of different companies that we love, and we do giveaways all the time. Free stuff. But you have to be on our Instagram channel to be able to get it and to be able to see it and all that kind of stuff. Oh, look at that. Siri's here to help. You got to love that when you're live and Siri shows up. So Disruptive Nutrition on Instagram, all of that. We will then post the opportunity to ask whatever questions you want. You comment, you send us a message, and then my team puts the questions together, and then I will answer them for you. So super great. I love the idea. And we got really good feedback. I also want to tell you, if you are watching us live, we are live in our YouTube channel and our Facebook group, which is Diet Disruptors Squad. Go find it and join us. I love that group. My coaches and I are in there, and we'll answer questions, and we post just about every single day in a variety of areas around what we need to be doing for our body, what we need to be doing for our mindsets, because our thoughts and our beliefs dictate our actions, and what we need to be doing to be able to implement a lifestyle forever. Because you could be doing what we teach you around food, but if you aren't taught how to do it forever, life will get in the way and you will fall off, and then you're going to be right back to where you are. The beautiful part about what we teach is that it is not about dieting. It's about fueling your body, not being deprived, putting your body in homeostasis in a super simple way that your kids can do it. But at the end of the day, us women don't do a great job of consistently showing up for ourselves. The way that I talk about our lifestyle is kind of like this. It's like, I don't care if you literally earn $1 kajillion a year, you still need some sort of a budget, because you could earn $1 kajillion a year, but if you spend $2 kajillion a year, then you don't have any money. You still have to think about it. If you don't have a ton of money, you have to think about it, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Well, that's kind of like our body, whether you're really fit or not, whether you feel like you have a fast metabolism or a slow metabolism. At the end of the day, anything that's important should take some sort of thought. The problem is we obsess about it. We completely go crazy doing the things that don't work for us. And the bottom line is we don't show up consistently. So let's think about this when it comes to our money. Okay. So let's say there's kind of two types of people, or two types of areas or places on the spectrum, I would say, with your money, right? There are people that could be so frugal and so restrictive with their money that they don't spend at all. They save, or just like, keep it all tucked away for a rainy day because they're afraid to spend it. And then there's people that are like, whatever, I don't even care a budget. I shouldn't have to do a budget. I don't want to do a budget. And then you go on that side of the spectrum. Well, either way is no good, right? You can't be so restrictive that you have no fun and that you don't allow yourself any indulgences or to be able to spend money. And you can't be so laissez-faire that you have nothing, no boundaries or anything. You're going to go broke even if you make $1 kajillion a year. You have to be somewhere in the middle, right? You have to have a healthy relationship with money and understanding that not being in a scarcity mindset, understanding that you can always make more money. We cannot make more time, but we can make more money, and living with some boundaries and some guardrails, right? I think about that with work, with raising our kids. If you are completely a parent that shelters your kids because you're so afraid they're going to get hurt and then you don't let them do anything and you're very, very strict and have all these rules, you're never going to be able to raise a child in the way that you want to be healthy, balanced, and even your relationship with them is going to be impacted. But if you are that parent that's just like, do whatever you want, run in the street, touch a hot stove, whatever, you have no rules and it's not a safe place, well, then that's damaging to a child and to a relationship as well. It's got to be somewhere in the middle. Anything that is important, any journey, any mission, any work that is important is going to take some thought, some planning, some consistency. And it's going to be important. It's going to take some hard. It is. Any pursuit worth doing is going to be something that you have to do consistently and have some boundaries. That's what it's like for our bodies too. Like, we have to show up for ourselves on a consistent basis and do the things that our body wants us to do to it. Now, the problem is so many of us think we know what to do, but we really don't. We think we should be depriving ourselves. We think it's calories in, calories out because it worked for you, quote unquote, worked for you in the past, or you know somebody now that that's what they do and it's working. Keto is working for that person and fasting is working for that person. But I will say to you all day long, can they do it for the rest of their lives? Keto is biohacking your body. Fasting is nothing more than actually restricting calories and throwing your blood sugar all off. You show me a study that it actually was beneficial to a woman in the long term. You can't. So we do have to have some guidelines, but it can't be based on trendy stuff. It's got to be based on what we know in science works for the long term. And you got to define what your definition of works means. If your definition of working means you lose weight quickly with the impact of it throwing off your hormones, your homeostasis, your blood sugar, putting your body more at risk for metabolic disease down the road and causing you to actually gain more weight in the future, then yeah, a diet will work. But if your definition of working is that you are actually getting healthier as you do this, that the longer you do it, the better your body gets, that it's so sustainable, you can do it forever without restriction and without being on either side of the spectrum. I'm not going to tell you, oh, you'll never have to think about food again. You should, but in a healthy way, because you got to show up for yourself consistently. You and your body are like a marriage. And any relationship, any marriage requires trust for it to last forever. Your body needs to know that it can trust you, that it's not going to go on this wild ride. How you lose weight has to be how you maintain it. And I'm not going to tell you have to restrict yourselves because that would be crazy. You're not going to be able to do it forever. And if you wouldn't put your kid on it, you shouldn't be doing it either. And so this hat that I have on, for those of you that can see it, is one of our brand new items in our shop. I love this so much because so I live right outside of New York and I love the I love New York symbol. And this is I love me. Now, somebody, one of our members is like, I'm from Maine, so I love this shirt too, or this hat too, because it also is the abbreviation for Maine, which I hadn't thought of. But I love me means I love me today. I love me where I am, and recognize the weight gain that you may have that's frustrating you is actually just your body's way of protecting you. It's your body's way of talking to you saying, hey, I love you so much that I'm going to have to do this, protect you, because what you're doing and what you're putting inside of me isn't quite working for us, or what you're not putting inside of me is not quite working for us. So by putting the I love me hat, you are reminding yourself, I love myself so much. And I have a purpose on this earth that I'm going to show up for myself consistently. I'm going to cultivate this relationship between me and my body so that I can serve others, so that I could fulfill my purpose. Because I know all of us have a purpose on earth beyond the scale. I mean, beyond the scale. In fact, I encourage every single one of my members to not even have a scale, because I always say, how would you know you're making progress without a scale? Because if you are getting healthier, your body's going to tell you in 100 ways. If you only look at weight loss, that is a very inaccurate measure of health. If your goal is weight loss only to then gain it again later, fine, stand on the scale, go deprive yourself and see what happens. Because I guarantee you're going to be regretful of it. And I mean, how many clients we talk to, or how many people right here in our community that say they've dieted pretty much their whole life, and that their happiness, they think, relies on that number on the scale. But if dieting worked for the long term, we wouldn't even need to have this business. We don't know what to do with our body. We don't know how to serve it and how to fuel it. That's what we're all about here. So we're going to get into some frequently asked questions. So we have this hat. I'm actually going to model our new hats in the store. I'm super excited about it because every single one of these hats sends a message. This isn't about just like, hey, we're trying to sell you a hat. This is about, hey, we're trying to spread the message to you, yourself, and to others that we have to do this differently. This is mission-driven work as far as I'm concerned. So grab your hat and show people. And they're like, what is that all about? It will strike up a conversation and then you get to educate. The problem is we are not educated. So many women will say to me, I know what to do, I just don't do it. And I say, well, I'd like to be able to say to you, honestly, I don't think you totally know what to do, because no diet will ever teach you about the concepts of how to fuel your body, how your thoughts and beliefs dictate your actions, how your kids need to be doing this, and how you can do it for the rest of your life in a simple way that you can do anywhere at any time in any place. But even if you do know how to do it, if we don't get you how to eat, that's only one small part of literally one small part of the puzzle. But if you don't actually understand that there's so much more to it, then I can teach you how to eat and you're not going to do it forever. So even if you know what to do, you still won't do it. So that's why you got to wear this hat, and you got to share this hat, and you got to talk about this hat, because this saves lives. The concept of cultivating a marriage between you and yourself. So throughout my episode today, I'm going to show you a couple other hats that we're so excited about. One of our coaches also did a lot of these designs. So big, huge shout out to Coach Steph. Please put Steph, Steff, in the comments, just to give her a shout out. She has worked so hard on these designs. Go into our swag shop. You will see they're thoughtful, and they're literally not just, it isn't about selling a t-shirt. It is about you representing a message and a mission that is bigger than us, that will save lives around the world. It will start a conversation. That's what I want you to do with it. All right. So I'm going to go look over here at what my team put together for frequently asked questions. So I'm just going to look over here so that I can take to read through them. So let's see. My first question is, just curious if the scale will still fluctuate when living the PFC lifestyle. Everything was going great, and then we went on vacation. Still kept to my workouts in PFC, but came home and I was up 3 pounds. I totally know I'm more than a number, but want to think about why this happened. I did enjoy some soul feeding, to use your term, but I don't think I was out of control. A drink a day, maybe 2, a couple times. But you mentioned loving your wine. So how often do you enjoy, and how do you best to enjoy without taking? Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you right now. 3 pounds is literally like nothing. I mean, if you didn't have a scale, would you know that you gained 3 pounds? Our body can literally shift in weight all day long. And if you didn't have a scale, would you even know? Because now what we're doing is not talking about this fabulous vacation you were on. We're now talking about 3 damn pounds. And in all reality, I always say, you do not have to be perfect. You have to be consistent. And I'm not sure who this person is or how consistent they've been for how long, but this really is like a fine wine. The longer you do it, the more your body will trust you, and the more and more you can do off-plan stuff and your body doesn't skip a beat. I am more interested to know on how you feel. My guess is you've indulged a little bit more than you had before. Even adding wine. Now, if you're drinking wine, everybody's going to know what well, not everybody, but a lot of you are going to know what I say. So here's the scary truth about wine. 99% of wine 99% of wine not only has more than 350 different chemicals, 350 different pesticides, 250 different chemicals and additives, which changes everything about the grape, changes everything about the taste, changes everything about the toxins that are going into your body without even knowing it. As soon as you put toxins in your body has to produce fat cells to be able to protect it. But also, because there are no labels on wine, you will likely have 16 to 32 grams of added sugar in a bottle of wine. That is more than a glazed donut. If you look at MyFitnessPal, a glass of wine will say it is like 160 to 100 calories. It's not. It's closer to 300 or more calories in a glass of wine. So if you are drinking a glass of regular wine and you are having two, understand you're taking in about 600 extra empty calories. Now, we don't count calories, but when you recognize that you're taking on as many calories with no nutritious value at all, because it's all sugar, and you're doing that every day while you're on vacation, well, your body's going to kind of hold on to that sugar. You're going to likely have a glucose spike. When you have a glucose spike, you store fat. The longer you've been on this lifestyle, the more your body can handle the glucose spikes because it's getting better and better at handling it on your own. Your body will work to balance its blood sugar in one of two ways, through food or on its own. We have been taught, and ask Coach Joanna this. Coach Joanna is a diabetic educator. She has been for more than 20 years. She was always taught your body will just balance its blood sugar on its own. She never knew that we can control it with food and should proactively. This is why 1 out of 2 people are pre-diabetic or diabetic, and even more have insulin resistance, which is going to then lead to prediabetes. That is because our blood sugar within our food is out of control, because we have things in our food like the wine that we do not know about, and that is wreaking havoc in our system. So every time we have a glucose spike, our body stores fat. So if you're taking a couple glasses of wine, it sounds crazy, but that's the impact. That's why I only drink clean crafted wine. Only. And if I can't drink that, then I don't drink wine, because it's like saying when I want a burger, like, or if I'm hungry, like McDonald's isn't an option for me. I don't go to McDonald's. So it's like saying you have a big juicy cheeseburger here, or you have a McDonald's cheeseburger. I would hope that most of you would choose the big juicy gourmet burger, right? That's like what wine is. It is just empty I call it dirty wine, empty calories that is actually wreaking havoc. So if you're on vacation for 7 days and you've only just started living this lifestyle and you're drinking a couple glasses of wine a day, understand you're taking in an extra 600-ish calories a day. So 3 pounds is actually your body. I mean, you just get yourself right back on or whatever. Your body is just going to be able to handle it. That's no big deal. Again, I would much rather you not have the scale. I will say when we're on vacation, a lot of times there's more food with sodium and extra salt. We need sodium, but extra salt. And it could be water retention that we're just holding on to. Travel is another big piece because of dehydration. If you're on a plane or anything like that, you could hold water in. That could fluctuate your weight. It is not because you're not doing something correctly. And the beautiful thing about eating PFC is that you literally can do this anywhere at any time, and your body will reward you for it in every single way. So I only drink clean crafted wine. If you want more information about that, go to our marketplace on our website. And I have a little video there about a little bit more information. And then there's a distributor that we link to that every single thing on their site, I am completely confident about. They even have now clean crafted coffee, which makes a big difference because I didn't realize how much garbage is in coffee until I started becoming educated. So you will have literally in clean crafted wine, none of the pesticides, none of the toxins, none of the added sugar. It's all from grapes that are like from old vines. So they have this robust, amazing flavor. I call it a no-brainer swap. It's not any more money than the wine that you're buying now. And if you're, well, it's more than like a $5 bottle or $10 bottle. But if that's what you're drinking, then you're just drinking garbage. But their average bottles are what, like $16 to $25 a bottle. Like it makes so much more sense to do that. 0 to 2 grams of carbs versus 12 grams of carbs in a single glass of wine, if not more, and a third of the calories. There's no sugar in it. There's the only sugar that's in the wine, and that's what causes the glucose spike, not the calories. The only sugar that's in it is the natural sugars that's left over after fermentation. And they're completely transparent on their website about what that is. Most of them are like 0.01 grams in the entire bottle. When in most wine that you're drinking, you're talking about 16 to 32 grams of added sugar in a bottle. It's like 16 to 32. I mean, that's not even like if there was 1 gram of natural sugar in there, that's like 16 bottles of wine. But that's like many of them are like 0.05 grams of sugar. Anyway, okay, that was a long answer. I hope that helps. And you just like you food serves our body and food serves our soul. And over vacation, I wanted you to have a balance and understand that you have to just have a good time and live. And you did great. You did great. Let's just get off the scale and listen to your body. Listen to your body. All right. You had a fast this morning for blood work. I know that my blood sugar was spiking from not eating. How does that affect A1C levels? Curious. I had to fast this morning for blood work. I know that my blood sugar was spiking from not eating. I'm not sure if your blood sugar was spiking from not eating. I would assume that your blood sugar is actually getting lower from not eating, although that's not always the truth. I mean, that's not always what happens. If your body goes into some sort of stress, it could spike because of cortisol. So, I'm not sure. I would need a little bit more clarification on that. But if you're fasting for blood work once in a while, it's fine. Your body actually, it's helpful to know what your blood sugar levels are when you are fasting for those kinds of tests, because that basically your A1C is telling you how many cells have glycated over the last 3 months. So when we glycate, every time we have a glucose spike, our cells glycate. Every time they glycate, it's like our body is toasting a little bit. We're getting a little bit, we're aging faster. We're putting our body at risk for disease. Every time we spike our glucose, that glucose we need. This is why people think we don't need carbs. We need it, but our body takes that glucose and uses it for energy, but it doesn't need a ton. So it will put it into our livers and our muscles, which is what we need it to do. But that excess, it's like having kind of like too much. When it goes overloaded, it gets stored in our fat cells and it can produce what's called free radicals. Free radicals are like little lightning bolts that actually zap our cells and can cause us to have stroke and cancer and all of that kind of stuff. So when we glycate, it can be super damaging. So an A1C is actually saying how many cells have glycated in the last 3 months. So it's a really important number to be thoughtful of, but don't stress about fasting for your blood work there. But I would love a little bit more. A blood sugar spike is going to happen here and there all the time. But the more that your body's able to stay consistent, the more it can handle the spikes. Because remember, your body will balance the blood sugar in one of two ways: through food or on its own. It's just much less efficient for doing it on its own. And if you require your body to keep doing it on its own over and over again, it means it keeps needing to release insulin to be able to deal with the glucose spike. If you can manage it with food, your body's not working so hard and you're not tiring it out so much. A glucose spike here and there is totally fine. I wear a continuous glucose monitor different times during the year just to see, and I spike my glucose, but more often than not, I don't. Before I was eating this way, I absolutely was in a blood sugar dip because I got way too hungry, or I was in a blood sugar spike because I would either overeat, I would eat too many carbs, all sorts of stuff, or I would not balance it with protein and fat. So, okay. Oh, I have a question here. What are your favorite holiday traditions? So we don't have that many traditions actually in our family. We've moved all over the world, and my kids always joke that we're not from anywhere and we don't have any traditions. But we do have a few. So one of the traditions in our family is on my maiden name is Ola, and so we have Ola Family Christmas, and it's with my siblings and my parents and my nieces and all that side of the family. A lot of times we're not all together, and we Zoom it in. We do a grab bag, a family grab bag, so everybody kind of does that Yankee swap, and it's super, super fun. But we cook my grandfather's amazing meal. I always say food does not make you feel good or bad. It should not be healthy or unhealthy. And I will say, during the times in my life where I really struggled with my relationship with food, this meal would kind of set me off because it was chicken paprikash. And chicken paprikash is amazing. It's kind of a PFC meal in and of itself, but it is very, very dense in carbs because it's these amazing dumplings. And as kids, we didn't want to eat the chicken that went with it. We only ate the dumplings. And I remember when I was going through my years of struggling, we always made chicken paprikash for our Ola family Christmas, whether it was Christmas Eve or it didn't always happen on Christmas, but we always had it. And then we could have any meal we wanted for our birthday. And so most of us would choose chicken paprikash. But I remember the feeling of such guilt after I would eat it because I overcarbed. I will absolutely overcarb. They will be an appreciation meal that I will appreciate. And the reason I need it is because it is so filled with generations of memories and importance for our family. When we make this chicken paprikash, and now I have learned how to make it. It is not easy to make my grandfather's recipe. And my mom, it was her father-in-law. She learned, and now I've been learning for the past few years. And it is the most amazing thing ever. We will have that meal. My whole family eats PFC. I do now eat the chicken, but I have the chicken before, and it's a really good idea to eat your protein first, and then I'll have the carbs. It will mitigate the spike a little bit, but I also just find myself not wanting to eat as much. But chicken paprikash is a huge tradition. The other big tradition we have, especially around the holidays, is that we have a little log cabin in upstate New York. And when we lived all around the world, that was the one thing that we did consistently. Christmas Eve, we'd sleep in the log cabin. And so no matter where our kids are, no matter what's going on, this is where they call home. And so they're not from anywhere except home is this log cabin. So it's very, very tiny. It's like 1,000 square foot. And this year we have a lot of people staying because we have our exchange student and my daughter's boyfriend. And so it's going to be a very tight fit. And my mother-in-law lives there now full time. So it's going to be a tight fit, but it's so incredible. So sleeping in the log cabin. So look on my Instagram. You can go follow me at Carrie_Lapoli, and I will post. We don't get there till Christmas Eve, and we usually leave on the day after Christmas. We put a tree up for that one night. Santa comes, and it is magical. I would love to know your holiday traditions. So comment, tell me what your holiday traditions are, because to me, it's about sharing. I don't want to just be one-sided. So tell me what yours are as well. Okay. When work is really stressful, I find myself getting takeout for dinner a lot. How can I get into a rhythm of actually making dinner? Okay, I'm going to change my hat actually for this one. Okay, look at this one. I love this one. Know your value. This is what I have behind my desk. Know your value. People ask me all the time, what does that say? This is what it says. Know your value. Our value is not a number in the scale. Our value is in who we are, what we do, how we serve others, and that we each have a purpose. And so we have to get healthy so we can go do the things. We can die younger later. All right. So how can I get into a rhythm of actually making dinner? Right now, deciding what to cook and figuring out if it's healthy feels really overwhelming. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I love this so much. So we have in Disruptive Nutrition we have a bunch of tools and a bunch of systems that we integrate into this. We do not spend like Sundays for hours meal planning at all, but we have a few resources that I want to share with you because I think you will find them to be amazing. So let me lean over and grab this. So we have our grocery planner pad, which is one little tool that we have, and it's like on a rip off sheet. And what I love about it is that I make my dinner plans for the week. I always do this on Sunday. It's part of my morning time. I show up for myself every single morning. And my Sunday morning time routine is that I grab my planner pad. I know that I can put my dinner plans, whatever they are, here on this side. And then I just put my grocery list on the other side. And I take scissors and I cut it up and I take this to the grocery store, or I send my husband to the grocery store and get it. So this is what I use for planning. Now, where do I figure out the recipes? That's such a great question, because to me, this is why I did the recipe vault. So for years now, we have been putting together every single month, we release more recipes. PFC balance, which means protein, fat, and carb balance. And the balance and the ratio will balance your blood sugar, keep your blood sugar balanced, but they are all kid tested and simple and amazing. So not like all of our recipes are tweaked enough so that they're a healthy version of it and they will balance your blood sugar. But we are talking about lasagna, meatloaf, spaghetti and meatballs, Asian food, Indian food, Mexican, like everything you can imagine, soups, crock pots. It's so simple, beautiful, and streamlined. And every single month, we come out with more and more recipes. We have probably 600 recipes now in the vault. They're searchable. You can tag your favorites. That I literally pull out my app and I look through maybe the last month's recipes. I'll ask in the group, what do people love right now? Our favorite is sweet and sour chicken. And here's what I know. If you have the ingredients, first of all, you will spend 4 times less on your eating if you cook for yourself. All of these recipes, my teenagers and my husband can make them, which says a lot. And they don't have all sorts of crazy ingredients, everything you can get in the grocery store. So I literally take the app, I plan out the meals, and we grocery shop. A lot of times I do online delivery because it's just such a time saver. And then when you have the ingredients in your fridge, you're going to be so much more inclined to do it. Now, by the time you order takeout and it gets delivered to your house, not only are you spending 4 times more money, but also it's taking just as much time. And so that is a time every single day. I actually time block out when I'm going to make dinner. And a lot of times I will just make extra and I plan for leftovers. And I plan on making extra so I can have some balanced meals the next day. And it's so yummy. So, I mean, one of the things you can do is just go ahead and ask in our Diet Disruptor Squad group, what are your favorite recipes? Now, we only open our recipe subscription twice a year, in January and again in July. So if this is of interest to you, this is a very low priced way for you to grab these recipes. All of our members already have access to it. If you're a member and you are in our recipe subscription, just talk about what you love about it. It is the least overwhelming thing in the world. And then what I do every single day is I show up for myself because I love me and I know my value. And I make sure, again, I have a 15-minute or so of morning time every single day. And I use our planner pad. Our planner pad is a tool that has literally been more than 20 years in the making. It's a pad that I rip off, and every single day I plan out my day. I know the top 3 things I know I have to get done today. And then I time block in the things that I need to do. I time block in when I'm going to prep dinner. And right down here at the bottom, it says, what's the dinner plan for tonight? So I have it written here, but I've already planned it on my grocery pad planner. Our planner system comes in a trio. So it's like literally so streamlined, and a tutorial from me on how to use it. And so now you literally, when you are intentional, you will do it. It's amazing how time just seems to work when you're more intentional about it. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And so this isn't about, like, the fact is dinner happens every single night. How you show up consistently is so important. And this isn't about being selfish. This is about how you actually serve your family. And we even have this really great in the recipe vault rating sheet. And so you can print it out and write in the different recipes that you're doing. And then your family can all vote on how many stars they give it, so that eventually you're just getting a library of recipes that are your go-to every week. And then you commit to doing one new one a week, so that you can keep it kind of alive and exciting. It's amazing how having these recipes keeps you from getting bored, keeps you consistent, keeps it planned and simple, but also exciting and new. And you will save so much money. With the recipe subscription being like $20 a month, I mean, you will literally save so much money by having a set of resources right at your fingertips. It's not like a cookbook that you have to go through and you're not really sure if it's healthy or if it's going to spike your blood sugar or not. It's not like you have to sift through magazines or go online. Every single one of these is going to give you what you need. We also have side dishes and desserts. I mean, it's powerful. Amazing protein shake recipes when you want a quick protein shake. I mean, it's super comprehensive. So that's what I do. Sundays, I take my grocery planner pad and my recipe vault app, and I just plan out the dinners I'm going to have. I mean, honestly, a lot of times I just make the things that the kids love the most, and I know how to make them so fast. Nothing takes more than 30 minutes to make. As long as you have the ingredients in your fridge, you're going to be able to do it. And then every day I just set my intentions. I time block when I'm going to do dinner, and I'm good to go. So that's what I do there. I'm going to change my hat one more time because I love a good camo. How about this one? And I love this because I love the camo and I love it's simple, sustainable, satisfying. Like that tagline to me, I thought of years ago because that's what it is. Simple, sustainable, satisfying. I love that. And I think that's what's like so um so powerful about what we do. And again, it's the conversations, it's prompting the conversations. So those are the questions that I had for today. If you have any other questions, put them in the comments and we'll make sure that we answer them. Go follow us on Instagram at Disruptive Nutrition or on the TikTok. We literally just started the TikTok. I'm like a little obsessed with the TikTok. I have to actually set time aside for me to TikTok. My husband and I are like super funny. Also, go follow me on Instagram, Carrie_Lapoli, because you can go see my holiday traditions. I'll put them up there and share with you about that. Any other questions you have, make sure you get them down when we ask you for them or put them in the comments and we'll keep track of them for my next FAQ episode. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Would love to know what you're thinking and go into the store. You just go right into the marketplace, disruptivenutrition.com, go to marketplace and go look at the mission-driven items that we have that are going to spark a conversation and actually help to change people's perspective on their value, on what they should be doing, and how they can do it forever. All right, you guys, talk to you later. Bye.